Hi, I'm April.
And I'm Bayleigh.
We are real-life friends and neighbors.
Together we run a business called Passionist Designs.
Our favorite part of our job is being in people's homes and hearing their stories. As we became inspired by these stories, we wanted to share them with others. That's where the Nestled podcast was born.
So join us each week as we are encouraged to pursue our own design decisions based on what we love instead of what fills our Instagram feed. Every home has a story, and we can't wait to hear yours.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here with Matti Gresham. She is going to join us for the entire episode today, a little bit different than what we typically do. So y'all say hey to Matti. Hey Matti.
Hey, Matti.
Hey!
So we just wanted to let her be part of this conversation. She's so much fun. If you don't follow her on Instagram, do that because she's such a fun follow. She's like one of my favorites.
Oh
So
my gosh, y'all are the best.
we wanted to be able to have you guys to have a little bit of real conversation with her along with us
Yes.
this morning. So
And so, to start out, we wanted to give an update about our neighborhood because for those of you who don't know, we moved into a neighborhood together, and we both just kind of felt called to this part of town, and we had some other families from our church move in with us. Not into our houses, but into the neighborhood with us to try and be really intentional with our neighbors. And we were discouraged for a little while because nobody liked us, we thought.
we felt like we were a little much for people.
Yeah.
Because we're walking every day and we're like, hey,
Chasing
what's
people
your name?
down. Yeah.
Y'all are like my dream neighbor.
Tell me about your dog.
Well, see, Maddie, that's what we thought too.
We thought
We're like, I would love to have me as a
Yeah,
neighbor because I'm
right.
so like.
I'm
anyway.
like dropping soup off for people.
Yeah, we
Trying-
made strawberry butter. I didn't even know what strawberry butter was, and I found a recipe and like made my.
Next level neighbors.
Yeah, we're trying, but anyway, no one really seemed to be responding, and that's okay. We
Is it
stuck
like an
to
open
it.
neighborhood?
It's very mixed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
very
a mix.
diverse in age and
Okay.
racial makeup. In a lot of ways, it's very mixed.
Yes. So anyway, this past
were
week,
feeling real
we were feeling discouraged. But then all in one day, we took a walk,
Mm-hmm.
and we knew everybody's name. And so that's a start.
Right.
We felt very like we got to stop and talk to Miss Sherry, who we normally don't even see her leave her house. And
Right.
we got to say hey to Mr. Tom. And anyway. And we got a new neighbor.
Yes.
And he was so excited to meet people.
Yes.
Finally.
So we saw the moving truck. We knew this house has been vacant, and
we're
we've
very
been,
extra.
watching, waiting to see who was going to move in. And I'm
Waiting
like,
to bring cookies.
I'm like texting Bayleigh, there's a U-Haul across the street. And so we are like walking casually, and I'm like, oh, hey, are you the new neighbor? And so I introduced myself. And then Justin and Bayleigh walked down and talked to him, and my husband, Lance, came out, and we talked to him for a little bit.
He doesn't have anybody here.
Right?
And so, anyway, he's now integrated into our lives.
Yes.
We've
He's
each
been
had
over
him over.
twice. Yeah. And it's
He
going
was
well.
part of our Super Bowl
He was
party.
part of our Super Bowl party.
Oh
And-
my gosh, yes.
So
Yes.
we're really encouraged by that. And then the same night, I walk across to my house. He's like across the street from me. And this lady and her daughter are walking by. And I'm like, I've never seen them before. So I say, hey, how are you? How's your night? You know? And she says, do you happen to be April? And I'm like,
I am
how
April.
does she know my name? So that was very like, kind of stopped me in my tracks. Like, okay, Lord, I'm listening. And she had just walked to like a little antique shop down the street and was talking to the lady who I know through a friend. And she said, and I was telling her where I live. And she said, oh, do you know April? She lives on that street too. It's so random. Anyway, the lady ended up sharing with me her heart about some hard things she was going through. And we went to bed and we're like,
We'll stay.
well,
Yeah. I guess we'll stay.
We'll stay.
so we feel really encouraged
Yes.
about our obedience to move to this neighborhood and also about our trying to be intentional with our life and that,
Yeah, y'all are being awesome neighbors. Holy
Thanks.
cow.
well, you could move into our neighborhood if you
Yeah.
I
like.
might.
We try to
I
recruit
might have
people
to now
all the
after
time.
this.
Yes. So our encouragement to everyone in that is like, even if the neighbors on either side of you are not automatically your best friends, because I don't think either house next to me cares for us at all. Just be persistent and intentional, and eventually You will make progress.
There will be progress, and I'm trusting that there's going to be continued fruit in relationships, even the people who think they don't like us.
even the people who think they don't like us.
We're going to win them over.
Yes.
Them over.
Yes.
They just have no idea what they're missing out on yet.
We're not everybody's, what does people say, Chick-fil-A sauce.
My mom used to say to me when I was growing up, do you like everyone? And I would say no, and she'd be like, well, everyone doesn't like you either. So it's...
Oh my God. Your mom's being so real.
Yeah, she's like, that's just part of it. Like, everybody
likes you either.
Everyone's not going to like you. Yeah, everyone's not going to like you, and it's okay. Like, just like you don't like everyone's not going to like you. Stop trying to make it happen.
See, my mom was the opposite. She's like, you're amazing. Everyone loves you. Don't even worry about it. I'd be like, oh, thanks, Mom. I did see something this morning that a girl posted something that was like, not everyone's going to love you. Most people don't even love themselves. And I was like, girl, please.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. Okay, and then the other thing that we always do, Maddie, is we say something that we're thankful for that week. And so we are doing another joint one this week.
Yes.
And we are so thankful for our city of Mobile. We were the home of the first Mardi Gras, and it's a much more family-friendly version of Mardi Gras, and it's so much fun. And we are like mid-carnival season right now, and
we have today, well, this will come out tomorrow on Wednesday, but today is Tuesday, and next Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. Yeah. So there's parades every day
for the rest of
until next Tuesday.
Yes.
It's just a really fun place.
It is. And my 5-year-old, well, she's 4, almost 5. This is like, she lives her best life during Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
It is her scene. Yeah. These are her people.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It is her fashion. And so, anyway.
Yes. And then, to go along with Mardi Gras, we also are so thankful for king cake. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had king cake?
I had my first king cake at a baby shower about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's
king cake season.
It's life-changing. And also, it's king cake season right now. It's everywhere. It's in every grocery store right now. So if you are like, I can't afford the one that I love that's $30, but I can get this one from Rouse's for $8. Yeah. And it's still good. Do you have something that you can think of that you're thankful for this week?
Yeah. So I'm pregnant with my first kid. Right? So at first it was really shocking and I didn't feel ready for it, but every time I go to an ultrasound, I just feel so thankful because I can kind of be an anxious person. Mm-hmm. So you don't really know what's going on in there. Mm-hmm. So when you see an ultrasound and you hear the heartbeat, I always am like, okay, everything's fine. Yes. The baby's great. So we had an appointment yesterday. And for some reason, I was really nervous because I've been so sick and just having a lot of negative symptoms, and it kind of started going away this week. And part of me was like, oh good, like I'm out of the first trimester, but then also part of me was like, oh my gosh, what if they're going away because I'm not pregnant anymore?
Yeah.
And so going to the doctor yesterday, I just felt really thankful because he was like, oh, everything's great.
Yay.
Heartbeat's totally fine, totally healthy. And he said at this rate, like at this stage in my pregnancy with a heartbeat that's as strong, the rate of miscarriage is less than 1%. So you're kind of just like, you're on now.
Yeah. So you're like 13 weeks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
13 weeks, yeah. So when did you find out that you were pregnant?
I found out at around 5 weeks. So it would have been in December.
Okay. I was just wondering because our baby that is almost 6 months old, she was our like big surprise baby, our third one. Yeah. And I found out on Christmas morning. And we were also like, what? So anyway, I was like, didn't know if you had a Christmas like that too.
Well, our families on Christmas like that. We told them all on Christmas, so they were all like, what? That was really fun.
Yeah, we have 5, and every single time we were like, what?
We can't quite figure out how this keeps happening. It's like,
I don't know how we were surprised every time.
I know.
I know, I've heard that though. Like even if you're trying, you're like still shocked.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Well, our first one, it was kind of like, whoa, that works.
That was fast.
You know what I mean? That was a shock too. Yeah. With that, Maddie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yeah. So I'm Matti Gresham, and I do a blog. It's just mattigresham.com. And I also work with my husband, Clint. He is an author and a speaker. He played in the NFL for a while. So we work together. I do a lot of the back end stuff for his business and a lot of like the design or like Photoshop, anything that he needs, and web stuff that he's not super tech savvy. So I get to like go in and do all the back end stuff that he needs done. We have a dog, Bear. He's walking around that we are obsessed with. He's a German short-haired pointer. Hey, don't lick the dishes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Real life.
Sorry. Yep. We live in Dallas. We travel around whenever Clint speaks from places, and sometimes I'll go, sometimes I won't. I haven't been going this trimester because I've been feeling so sick, so I've just stayed home. And then I also do like freelance photography and photo retouching on the side, which is like super easy for me. I actually love retouching because I can just stay home and edit people's photos for them and be in my pajamas. So that's really fun. And yeah, we both just have like a heart for ministry. Clint speaks at a lot of churches and stuff, and I really want to travel and speak and do stuff like that. So that's why I started my blog, was to write more so that I could have a platform to speak. And I'm kind of just waiting for the opportunities that, God will bring me. I'm trying not to like force going and speaking somewhere, or I'm kind of just in like a waiting season. So, which is nice because I'm pregnant and I'm like, all I can do is sit around.
Yeah.
So if you were able to speak, what would be your ideal like situation to be able to speak in, and what would you like to speak about?
Okay, yeah, I am like obsessed with women's conferences. So I would love to speak to women just about faith and marriage and God. Just like, I'm a very, if you follow me on Instagram, I keep it real. And that's part of what I love about certain women that I like admire who speak, like Lisa Bevere or like Havilah Cunnington. They're just super raw and transparent in like their life and just what they're going through. And it makes you feel like, oh, this person doesn't have it all together and they can, maybe I could do something like this because it's not so cookie cutter. Like sometimes you see people on stage and you're like, is their life even real?
Right.
And so I would love to speak just to groups of women, of all ages, but I have like a really big heart for college girls, just because that season of life is so hard and emotional and
pivotal.
For sure.
Important.
With that, I was actually laughing. I told Bayleigh, it popped up in my like Facebook memories from 4 years ago that I had shared a video of the guys from the Seahawks talking about how Jesus is better than the Super Bowl.
That was my husband.
And that was this morning. She was like, oh my gosh.
I sent it to Bayleigh and I was like, look,
That's her husband.
This is him right there in the middle.
Yes.
So I thought that was so cool that just came up.
Most of the time when Clint gets asked about that, I've been in enough like conversations with him where they've asked him like, oh, so, what was the Super Bowl like? And, because they played in 2, which is just crazy.
That is crazy.
But asking what felt like. And he always says that whenever they went back into the locker room, like after the game, and then like for a few days after that, weeks after that, he would have his teammates come up to him and say stuff like, man, I keep waiting for it to sink in. Like I keep waiting for it to hit me that like we won the Super Bowl. And Clint was like, he said that too. And he said, I actually finally realized why we all kept saying that. And it was because we kept waiting for this thing that we had put our hope in to like make us feel a certain way. Like once we win this, or like once we achieve this, then we'll feel so accomplished, or like then we'll feel so happy. And like it just didn't satisfy them in the way that they thought. So they kept saying, I keep waiting for it to hit me. And so I think that was a big learning lesson for him, to be like, man, even like achieving like your craziest, wildest dream that you never think that you would ever achieve still isn't going to satisfy you as much as God is. And you have to kind of go through that to realize it,
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you guys have your first baby on the way, I know that you're probably thinking a lot about your home and what that'll be like with the baby. But what do you most remember about your childhood home?
My childhood home, it was actually back in the 90s, it was not normal to have like an open floor plan, in your house. And our house was super open, which I loved. So like our living room was huge and actually had like really high vaulted ceilings, which was also not normal in Lubbock, Texas. We had a fireplace that went in between. That was the only thing that went in between our big living room and then our small living room. And then our kitchen was open too. So it's just this huge, and our dining room was in the big living room too. So it was super fun because me and my brother could just run loops around this whole huge giant, living space. So that was probably my favorite thing, because everything just felt included. Everything felt just like this big space, you know, and it was a pretty big house. So, and then my brother and my bedroom were on one side, my parents was on the other. So we kind of had, like our own party going on over there, which was really fun. But yeah, I think that my favorite thing was probably just how open it was. And, I lived in that house for, 18 years. So that house is like super close to my heart. And whenever we moved out of it, I was so sad.
Yeah, that's hard whenever your parents sell like your childhood home.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
So my parents had gotten divorced and then my dad kept that house. So I was 14 when they got divorced, but he kept it so that we'd still have that house, you know, which I was so thankful. And so then when I went to college, he sold it. And I remember driving by for the first time and seeing like a new tire swing and like someone else's car. And it was like my house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really hard. So with that, what do you hope that your baby will remember about their childhood home that y'all are going to create?
Oh my gosh. I think I want our home to be just really inviting. Like I want people I want it to kind of be like a revolving door. I feel like that was something in my home that we didn't do much of. We didn't do much entertaining or like having people over or like serving people or whatever. And I really want our children, all of them, to just be really open to a bunch of different people and meeting a bunch of people that are different than them. And just, so I want it to be just a really hospitable place, like a place where we take time and intention to like have people over, have people come stay with us, you know, make people meals. We're really passionate about, you know, things like that, having dinner parties, having people over. So that's probably more important than I think anything that I could do or make or design within our house. I mean, I love decorating and redecorating everything, but I think that would be something that they would remember more than anything.
So would you say that is the personality that you're going for in your home is a place that is open and that is welcoming?
Yeah, for sure. I love I want it to be cozy. I want it to be like candles lit. I want people to like come in and feel like they're home and they can relax, you know? So that is really important to me. So if anything feels like, I hate when the air feels stuffy in my house. Like I hate when it's like my house just feels
closed.
Yeah. Like I want it to just be like, I love having our windows open and there's like the air in and the, you know, candles lit, people, you know, I love that. So, and I love when we have people over. So, so yeah, warm and inviting and welcoming and homey is kind of what I'm going for.
Have you heard of, it's called Hygge, I think is how you say it?
Oh, is it like Hygge?
Yeah. That's like what you just described.
We were just talking about this morning.
I was like, I feel like we need to talk about this Hygge thing, this trend that's like happening right now.
Hygge. I was saying Hygge.
I googled how to spell it this morning. I was like,
how to pronounce it.
How to pronounce it. Hygge.
It's a Swedish word, right?
Yeah. It means like the art of like making a cozy space.
Yeah.
And so when you said, and it's like candles and throws and pillows. And so anyway.
I feel like that's what we do. Like when we go into someone's home, because we're so passionate about like your house shouldn't tell somebody else's story. It shouldn't look like a picture out of a magazine. It should look like you. It should be your personality, your style. And like, let us help you make it warm and cozy and inviting. And because you walk into so many homes and they do feel cold.
And I think a lot of that comes from trying to make it look like a picture.
Right.
Yeah. Like if you go in and you buy everything from Restoration Hardware, it's going to be gorgeous.
Right.
I'm going to love it, but I may feel like I can't touch anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And it's going to look like somebody planned, this is what your life looks like, instead of where you come into someone's home and it's their pictures of their travels or the things they've gathered from grandparents, pieces of furniture, and all of that kind of stuff that kind of like makes a house a home. But so how would you describe your style? My style. So I was going to quickly say this one thing. So I was working for a long time as a photographer, and I still do it on the side, but I was shooting interiors and product for a rug company. So we would go into people's homes and we would, you know, style the room or house or whatever, and seeing everyone's different, like seeing beautiful homes that are like an Architectural Digest, that are styled like to the T of this person's personality. That was how I kind of started making my style of my home, was because I would walk into a house and be like, I am obsessed with everything in this home. Right.
But then I would walk into another one that was completely different style, like going from a super bohemian house to a house that's like really traditional, classic, and being like, wait, I want everything in this house.
Right.
Wait, why did I like that house? And so I tried to like mix kind of like my favorite things that I found in every house that I was like obsessed with that we photographed. So for me, I think I fall in the middle between being like bohemian and classic. Like I like the happy medium. Like if you guys, do you know Amber Interiors? Do you guys ever follow her?
No, we'll have to look her
but I
up.
will.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well she is like my home style icon. She does a lot of like warm earth tones in her house, really beautiful like antique rugs. Like I love antique rugs. And just really like cool textures and but everything else is really, really neutral. So I love, like you see all my white.
Right.
So like I love to start with like white or gray or black and then add like, I don't do a ton of color. So I am very like minimal in that sense, but I like everything to look kind of clean and in between like farmhousey and like modern. Like I don't like things that are too modern, but I also don't want everything to look like it's from Magnolia Home. So I want the mix of those things. So whatever that category would be.
Yeah. We say the same thing.
Yeah.
We both, it's like sometimes, I mean, your style evolves, but also there's an aspect of it of like, I love this and I love this and I love this. And I can't really be put in a box because I just try to like mix it all up.
Yeah.
For
I call my style eclectic. It's whatever I liked when I was at the store. Or when, you know, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Or what I picked up along the way.
Right. Oh man, our earliest houses were all just like side of the road finds and things people gave to us. And it was like, this isn't necessarily my style.
But then you had the Hygge. What's it called?
Yeah. Hygge. Yeah, I think
so. You fluffed it up.
That's right. That's right. Hygge. Because I'm sure, I feel very confident we're still saying it wrong.
I feel confident also. Is there a Google Translate that can like say it out loud for you?
That's what we need.
Hygge.
Hygge.
It's up for interpretation. Who or what would you say inspires you?
Well, so Amber Interiors, you guys really need to follow her.
We will, and we'll link
I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, she's big time. She is amazing. I'm trying to think of who else I love. Do y'all follow Emily Henderson?
Yes, yep, that's our girl. Her. I mean, not really. She doesn't know we exist.
She doesn't know we exist, but she's going to come on our podcast sometime.
Yeah.
So I love her stuff. Yeah. She really like, I feel like is my vibe too.
Yeah. And by she's going to come on our podcast, I mean, she's like our top wanted guest. And if it ever happens, we may just close up shop.
Yeah.
Say, well, we did it.
We've arrived.
We did it. So.
Yeah. And then a guy named Brady Tolbert. Yes. He is a designer. Yeah. Okay. So I love his stuff. Oh, and Studio McGee. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Don't know them.
Yep, I do.
Yep. Yeah. So I love all of them. And anytime I see them post anything, I'm saving it.
Yeah.
I want next house. Because we renovated some of this house, but this isn't like the house we're going to live in for a really long time. Right. So when I see like amazing, beautiful, like kitchen islands, and we don't have an island in our kitchen, but I just am like, I'm doing this with our next house.
Right.
These pictures.
Right. I know Emily Henderson, she's the one that really made me want pattern tile floor even more intensely. We haven't gotten it yet, but it's like on our wish list for this house.
Clint won't go for it. I've been asking for that for months, and he's like, I just don't like the print. I'm like, ugh.
But please.
But if we just laid it down, you could see it.
Right.
Then you would love it.
See, my husband's on board, but he did not win a Super Bowl. So, we got to get some money at the tile floor to be able to change our tile.
Her husband is a PE teacher. So. Yeah.
So, anyway.
I mean, same, but different, you know?
Yeah. Same field, but very different paychecks.
That's funny. So you moved to Dallas, and you said you're from Lubbock. So you moved back where you're from. Were you in Seattle when Clint was playing for the Seahawks?
Yes. So I'm from Lubbock, and Clint is actually from Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And he had moved to Seattle. We actually moved the same year, which is weird, but we didn't know each other. So we were in Seattle both for 6 years separately. But I met him I think my junior year of college, because we were leading Young Life together in the same area. And we were just friends for the first little while. And then we started dating. So then when we started dating, he was already playing, because he moved there to play for the Seahawks. So he had been playing there for, I guess, 2 or 3 seasons when we started dating. But we dated for like 1 football season, and then we got engaged. So we were engaged for a football season, and then we were married for a football season. He signed a contract when we were engaged, right about before we got married, like a month before we got married. So then he played 1 season, and then they released him, which that's the thing about NFL contracts. They don't have to pay you if they cut you. So he signed a 3-year contract, but after 1 season, they released him. And so then we didn't get the last 2 years of that contract. So we stayed in Seattle for like another year, because the Seahawks kept saying, oh, we're going to bring you back. We're going to bring you back. Stay ready, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of felt like we were in limbo for like 9 months, because we were thinking like, oh, we're going to be here. And we had planned on being there forever. Like, we love Seattle, and like all of our greatest friends are up there. I went to college up there, and then he has like super good friends that he lived with for a really long time. And so we were kind of shocked when he got released. And then, so that's why we were kind of sticking around, hoping that it was going to pick back up. And then by like month 9, it was just really hard for Clint to stay there, because everything in Seattle, like more so than any city I've ever been in, it's all about the Seahawks. Like there are Seahawks dolls at the grocery store. There are banners. There are people. Like, it's just, you cannot avoid it. And so Clint always says it's kind of like driving past your ex-girlfriend's house every single day. And you're like going to work, and she's doing great.
Right.
And so it was really hard for him, I think, to be there. And we were kind of at a point of transition anyway. And so we kind of felt like, maybe we should move back to Texas, because like we'll have kids in the next couple of years, and we'll want to be closer to the grandparents, and not knowing that we would be pregnant this soon, which is amazing, because I would not want to be in Seattle like without any of our family having this baby. So I'm really glad that we decided to do it. And we've loved being in Dallas. It was a hard transition at first, just because I didn't really know anyone here. And then, but once we got into church and kind of started finding like those random couples from different places, it took, probably, oh my gosh, I love being back in the South. It's just so much more welcoming, and people are just so sweet. And so I've loved being here.
Well, good. How did you like make home a safe place to land for Clint during that hard season where he was kind of in that limbo?
Yeah, so I had quit my job when, I think right before we got married, just partially because football season for him was so stressful. And I don't think that I noticed until we were married really how stressful it was. And so I was so glad that I had made that decision, which really wasn't easy for me, because I had, a lot of like pride and identity put in like this photographer cool job that I had. And so quitting that, I had a really hard time. People would be like, so what do you do, Maddie? And I'd be like, nothing. I do nothing. Like, I had not, like, now I'm like, it's such a blessing that I got to do that. I had such a bad attitude, but it was just because I felt like my significance was in the fact that, like, I wanted to be super independent. I wanted to make my own money. That's just how I was raised. And so it was hard for me to kind of humble myself and be like, oh, I'm just going to help you do your job, I guess. And so it took a few months, but I actually loved being able to just, like, do a bunch of stuff for him that he wouldn't have to worry about, so that he could just come home and crash. I would usually try to like have dinner ready, clean the house, like get everything just like nice, so that he could come home and just relax and not worry. He has like OCD, so like when things are like really messy, it stresses him out even more. So like he would have gone to football and then been home and it would be crazy. He would be like, babe, I can't do this. This is too much. Like I need it to just be like set in place. So I spent a lot of time cooking, and which is not my gift at all, but just like cooking and cleaning, running errands, like I just tried to bring the stress level down. So anything that I could do to, like, he loves when the bed's made. So, like, I'm going to make the bed really nice, and I'm going to have, certain things put away, and maybe I'll have, he would love when I would have dinner ready when he comes home and he can just relax. So trying to think like a step ahead, and that felt like a full-time job because the stress was a full-time. And so it really was just trying to eliminate.
You know what I mean? Because you were able to not work and focus on that. Now that's just going to be like your second nature go-to. Because we all want to do that for our husbands,
Yeah, for sure.
I say all the time, one of Lance's love languages is clean sheets. And so when he's really stressed, I'm always like, washing the sheets today.
Yeah. Like, they all have their little things.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, cleaning the house, having dinner ready, fresh, clean sheets. Yeah. Coming home with music playing and candles lit, whatever it takes.
Good wife. You're a good wife.
Yeah. But you can't always do it all. So.
No.
So last week we started doing something new on our podcast, and people did love it, so we're going to keep up with it.
Until they don't love it anymore.
Until they tell us, because people are honest.
You decide, people. You decide.
Yeah. So it's love it or leave it. Okay. And we're going to say some things, and you can say love it or leave it. Okay?
Right.
Some is going to be house stuff, and some will be just life and fashion.
Or whatever.
Okay, just a few things.
Okay, so gallery walls.
Oh, I love it.
Fake plants.
Leave it.
Leave it.
I know you're so good at real plants.
I'm so good at keeping them alive. I should probably transition to fake plants. What's wrong with me? I actually, you guys, for the first time in my whole life, considered getting one of those fake fiddle plants from Target because they actually look really real. But my fiddle is sad, and I blame it on my pregnancy because I was like, I forgot to water them because I was dying.
Right, I would say that succulents look and cactus, the cacti are easy to I would say get those. They're easy to keep alive, but you killed your cactus.
Well, let's be real. The weather killed my cactus.
Okay.
I'm not taking full responsibility.
The Lord did not want your cactus to survive.
Still alive. But I was outside, y'all. Oh my gosh, he's still out there. Because I couldn't leave him inside. I couldn't look at him anymore.
I'm sorry, you're too ugly.
But I was like, you're done.
Our lemon tree also died. Yeah. It's off. It's
I've
a big
a lot
one.
of lemon trees.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And my mom got so mad at me because she called and was like, you need to go pick all your lemons because the freeze is coming through and your lemons are going to be dead. And I was like, I don't need all those lemons. She's like, give them to your neighbors. And I did. And then she came over to my house and was like, I told you to pick your lemons. She listens to this podcast. She's going to be like, yeah, I didn't have
any lemons to pick yet. I killed them.
Well, we moved into the lemon tree. It wasn't, I can take no responsibility for it.
Right.
Okay, so rompers.
I'm so tall that rompers don't really work for me, so I'm going to say leave it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about a man romper?
Leaving it always. Every time. Holy cow.
Okay, dogs in the bed.
Depending on the time, I love it.
And depending on the dog.
Yes, only my dog.
All right, tracksuits.
How is this a thing again?
Yeah, leave it. Maybe when I'm pregnant, though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. There comes a point. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man buns.
Leave it. I'm so over it. Have you guys seen the video of the guy that goes and cuts man buns off? Okay, Google that after this.
We need to put some of those in our story.
You need to Google. It's literally a guy who has a camera and he'll find people on the street and he will take scissors and go behind them and snip their man bun off. And they turn around, they're like, what? And then he just runs.
Just a side note about man buns. The neighbor we talked about earlier that just moved in, Travis, who may listen to this because he works from home.
Travis.
If you listen, Travis.
What's up?
He does not. But we were talking about long hair, and we did not know he'd had long hair.
I was saying how I just don't.
She's like, I don't like it on a man.
Long hair is good on a man.
And he said, yeah. So what I learned by having long hair is that all women feel that way. He's like, men always complimented my hair. No woman ever was like digging the hair, And so, anyway, he got a fresh haircut before he moved to Mobile. So
I mean, I cannot name one man that I've been like, yeah, that long hair is just killer.
Maybe the guy that plays Drake.
I don't know.
The guy on Game of Thrones that plays Khal Drogo.
Oh, see, I've never seen Game of
I
Thrones.
haven't either.
Jason Momoa, I think is his name. I can't imagine him without the long hair.
But Mom So Hard put his picture up at their show.
Yeah, we went and saw Mom So Hard.
Do you follow
Oh my
them?
gosh, they're hilarious.
They're so funny.
I wasn't even supposed to travel. I was so pregnant, and we went anyway, and it was worth the risk. So
Yes.
okay, wallpaper.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the pattern.
It's back,
for sure.
so that's
Maybe not a full room, but
a wall.
Yeah.
But this is you. You can.
We're asking you, not us.
If you want the whole room,
I mean, I have no wallpaper in my home, so I'm not really like doing it.
But M. Henderson's doing it, and she's fabulous.
See, and
so.
I love it when she does it.
She does it, yeah.
Me too.
And then letterboards.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I like those.
Awesome.
I loved whenever you talked about just kind of regrouping and refocusing on like what you set out to do with your blog and all of that. And we talked about recently how it's so easy to kind of get off course whenever you you're like have this target and this is what I want to hit, but all of your arrows are going over here. And so instead of like figuring out what to do, you just move the target to where all your arrows are hitting. And it's so easy to do that. And so I was really encouraged to hear you say that. And we've been somewhat convicted, and I would say just feeling the Lord really pressing us to go like, this is what I gave you as a goal and as what you're about and why you want to do what you do, why you want to encourage people to be hospitable and to have people in their homes and all of those things is because you want them to create community where they can be about discipleship. And so like, stop trying to shoot your arrows over here, you know, moving your target. And and so that was really encouraging to me.
Because we can easily do just the style stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not about, we don't need to get on here and talk for 30 minutes about, like, what looks good.
Right.
So. Yeah, I totally get that.
So thank you for that encouragement today. Maddie, where can people find you on the internet?
On the internet, so I'm at Matti Gresham, M-A-T-T-I, kind of a different way to spell Maddie, but Matti Gresham. And that's me on Instagram, Twitter, wherever. And my website is just mattigresham.com.
For those of you who are listening for the first time and haven't found us on Instagram yet, our Instagram handle is Nestled Podcast, and you can follow us there because our podcast numbers don't show what's going on Instagram. So if you people could go and not just look at our pictures and watch our stories, but then like our page.
Yeah, follow us.
Follow us there.
Appreciate that.
And you should screenshot your podcast numbers and show people, like, hey, this is what we're doing.
We got some listeners. Where y'all at?
Yeah.
We also know everybody keeps telling us we need to post more about ourselves on our page. But, like, the mom and us, we struggle because we only take pictures of our kids. So we're trying to, like...
I wish y'all were involved because I could come shoot your house in.
Let me tell you how much we need you, Maddie. I was going to say that earlier. I did, for a decade, I did portrait photography.
Oh, okay.
So I can do that. But... interiors is a whole different thing.
It's so different.
It is so different. And so, like, I went in real confident and was like, I was like, why is this not photographing like I want it to photograph? It's been a whole thing.
That's actually the photo shoot that I'm going to at 1. I'm shooting some interiors for a designer that just redid a house. So
yeah, that's what, like, we would, like, we redo people's houses and then we take the pictures and we look at them and we're like, no one can tell how good this looks. Because this picture does not reflect it.
And so we don't know what to do about it.
You do. Come on down. Come live in our neighborhood.
You come down and walk your streets and...
Yes.
That's right.
Say hey to everybody. Tell her the best.
So, also, you can find us on our website at paginasdesigns.com. And if you like what you hear, you can leave us a review.
Tell everyone to like our Instagram.
Everyone, go like it. Why haven't you liked it?
Yeah, so... Anyway, thank you, Maddie, so much. We loved getting
to
talk
thank
with
you guys. This was so fun.
This was really fun.
Yes.
So.
We knew we were going to love you.
Same. I just knew.
All right, bye.